So what is the strategy for CA inter audit day before exam, or if at all you are yet to start the revision of audit subject in the coming few weeks, whatever the number of weeks that are available. I'm doing this on 20th of October. So you are just away from almost like 2.5 weeks to the subject of audit exam. Like in this moment, what are the chapters that you must give high priority and what chapters you have to give least priority? Look, from exam point of view, every chapter is important. Some students ask me, sir, what are the important chapters from where guarantee definitely a question comes? Show me one exam where any of these chapters not tested in that attempt. Either it is tested as an MCQ or it is tested as a descriptive question. Maybe, look, be logical. See, suppose if you look at a chapter like audit report, which is a very big chapter. Audit report is something which is a very big chapter. Items of financial statements is a very big chapter. These two chapters are approximately 100 pages. So the weightage will be approximately 10 to 15 marks, obviously. And if you see a chapter called, like automated environment, its number of pages are 30 or 35 maximum, not even 30, less than 30, including diagrams, it is 30 or 35. So the weightage is 5 marks. How many of the students thinking is, since audit report we are having 10 to 12 marks weightage or 14 marks weightage approximately, including Caro. Okay, see, Caro, according to my discussion, is part of audit report. In fact, in the new scheme, Caro is added in audit report. In the new scheme, you don't have company audit, which I, right from the moment I started teaching audit, I discuss Caro only with audit report, not in company audit. If you see ICS study material, Caro is given in company audit, but it is not a company audit related topic, company law related. So covered in company SAT, but it's not company audit related topic. It's an audit report topic, which in the new scheme they did, because they removed company audit, appointment provisions, all that. So definitely from every chapter you will get a question. The point is, which chapters, if at all a question comes from a particular chapter, in which chapter related question you can perform well, that is important. There are least priority chapters according to me. These are least priority chapters. Earlier, I used to give societies audit also as a first priority, but now I'm keeping it under least priority. Getting it? The reason, the logic is very simple. In all these cases, the chances of doing mistake by the student, the chances of writing a wrong answer or maybe incorrect answer, not completely correct answer, is the chances of writing correct answer is very low in these chapters. If you want, you can test yourself. In government audit, if a question comes on performance audit, specifically by using technical terminology, many students cannot write. Getting it? In audit strategy, there are 3 questions. What are the points to be considered while preparing an audit strategy, overall audit strategy? What are the points to be considered while preparing an audit plan? What are the points to be considered while preparing an audit program? What are the advantages of strategy, advantages of plan, advantages of program? Like this, there are 6 concepts. And if you study all these 6 concepts, all of them speaks more or less same thing. So the chances of writing the most accurate answer is again less. Risk assessment and internal control. This is one of the chapter where the terminology controls related topic is used at advanced level. An analytical procedure, again, this is another one confusing chapter from student. No matter how best you prepare, still there is a possibility that we do mistakes. Now, so from my point of view, these chapters which I have listed out in the left side, getting it, whatever you are seeing, the right now, this list, big list, these are the chapters where the possibility of doing mistakes is lesser compared to this list of chapters. And remember, you see, I have given an order in which you need to watch. Like first, NOS audit. Fundamentals is something which is specific in my book. If those of you who are following my marathon, whoever it is, you will notice that I do take a fundamentals topic. By the way, in my YouTube channel, same YouTube channel, go to the playlist November 23 marathons were there. Inside that, audit marathon is already given, which I uploaded for May exams. The same thing I copied here, just that the photo has been changed because the syllabus is exactly same. Now some students ask me, sir, what are the amendments? Are man, in audit, There is no scope for amendments at all. There is only one amendment which is material, which is important according to me, which happened in 2021 actually. Okay, which was applicable for the first time from May 23 exams only. Okay, small company definition. Small company definition, paid up capital 4 crore criteria, turnover 40 crore criteria, only that amendment. Where it is relevant for a small company amendment, it is relevant only in audit report, that too in Caro. So if in exam they have given a private company data where the paid up capital is less than 4 crore and turnover is less than 40 crore, it's a small company. Accordingly, Caro do not apply. You need not check. In Caro private limited company, 4 conditions criteria is there. You need not check. If a private limited company satisfies small company criteria, Caro do not apply to them. Simple as such. So there only, that amendment only relevant. Now there is one amendment which is there related to company audit. You have a section 147, right, punishment. In that very slight modification, but that is irrelevant from audit subject point of view. That is not a material, that is not a relevant amendment at all. And there are some amendments in company law, in shares issued at premium, shares issued at discount, issue of share, some few slight amendments which will affect items of financial statements chapter, but that is also not relevant. Simply for items of financial statements chapter, I always recommend to read only ICA book. In fact, in my material I have a content, but what I recommend is follow ICA material for items of financial chapters. Whoever it is, follow ICA material. If at all you have not yet seen ICA material on this chapter, some short notes or some shortcut material you found, no, don't do that. Just one time give a single reading in ICA material, you will understand at what level you are supposed to learn this chapter. And the weightage from this items of financial statements chapter is 12 marks to 16 marks. Who knows? Sometimes only 8 marks they will give. But most of the times 12 marks is the weightage. Getting it? So now you observe. So nature, objective and scope of audit. In this chapter, what are all will be covered? Like for you, what is an audit? What are the advantages of audit? What are the principal aspects to be covered? Scope of audit, inherent limitations in audit, fundamental principles in audit. That fundamental principles in last attempt, May 23, in CA final, they asked for 5 marks. In CA final, they have asked for 5 marks. So it's very important. And then you have a topic on terms of engagement, SA 210. In invoice audit, what standards they are testing indirectly, 200, 210. And some contents of 220. While accepting and continuing a client relationship, what are the points that auditor has to consider? So these are all covered in invoice audit. If you want, you can just take out my material and see. Then company audit. All the provisions are important in company audit. Then audit report. If you look at our material, what we cover is, we cover 700, 701, 705, 706, and we cover 710. Then we cover 570. Then we also cover Caro, so getting it, and we also cover 143 subsection 1, 143 subsection 3, the reporting items. So all these are very important. Getting it? Documentation and evidence. In this, what are the topics that are covered is 500, 230, 330 is also covered. Actually, in CA Inter, 330 standard is not there in the syllabus. As per the list of standards, if you see, 330 is not there for you. There are some 9 standards which are not there for you in the syllabus. 260, 265, 330, 402, 450, 720, and 600, 610, 620. Getting it? So, sorry, 600 and 620. Getting it? These standards you don't have in the syllabus at all. You don't have in the syllabus. Again in 540. So these standards you don't have in syllabus. But the content related to 330, you remember this point? Audit procedures are broadly 2 categories. Yes or no? Risk assessment procedure, further audit procedure. Further audit procedure means what? Compliance and substantive. That further audit procedures are what? SA 330, it's response to assessed risk. Whatever you did risk assessment, based on that, what is your response? You do further audit procedure. So entire 330 talks about further audit procedure. That is completely discussed for us in, that is completely covered for us in documentation and evidence chapter. And in the same chapter, if you look at ICA material, 580, 501, 505, 510, 550, 560, these are also covered. But if you look at my book, I cover them as a separate standards chapter. Getting it? So you need to read them separately, not as part of that chapter. In ICA book, it is covered in evidence chapter, but I discuss in my class, in my book, separately. Then fraud responsibilities. one of the easy chapter. This is nothing but 240 testing, sampling, SA 230 testing. Getting it? In sampling, no, the questions will be slightly confusing. Again, you need to pay attention at what are the factors that an auditor has to consider. Very simple, very simple. Just watch my marathon. You will definitely understand how a question can come in audit subject. You know very well how the marathons which I upload perform very well in the YouTube. Like almost each marathon will be having 1.5 lakh, 2 lakh views on an average. Getting it? The reason is because of the comprehensiveness of coverage and the way of giving you explanation about how exams, the question can be twisted, how in different ways you can get a question. So all those points were covered. You just watch that. That will be enough. Then automated environment, then bank audit. So now, especially in bank audit, no, working capital limit, one point is there. Oh, working capital limit point. Getting it? If the sanction limit is more than 5 lakh, the auditor has to, if the sanction limit is more than 5 lakh, auditor has to check whether it is stock audit has been conducted or not. So these kinds of some points were there in bank audit, especially. Audit of advances, special cases, agricultural advances. So no, agricultural advances affected by natural calamities, that advances one list is there. Getting it? Advances became regular near to the balance sheet date. So advances where there is an erosion in the value of security. Like this, there are some topics in bank audit. And how to do audit of these advances, what are the process, what are the points to be covered, how to do audit of drawing power. On drawing power and all, they'll give questions. Don't worry, in bank audit, in marathon, you see bank audit timestamp will be there. You just follow that, you are done. Then these items, then come to items of financials. And I always sincerely request everybody to read items of financial statements from ICA material. In fact, in the marathon which I have taken, I have covered it from ICA material. And if you cover all these chapters and if you feel you are very strong in all these chapters, okay, you did a proper revision of all these chapters, you are still left with some time, then these chapters you can come, then you can come to the second priority or last priority chapters. Now in this also, what is the order? Order in which you have to study. First, to read society's audit. Then different items, audit of different entities, government audit. And in ICA book, these three are put together as a single chapter. But for me, these three are three different topics. In audit of different entities, LLP audit is first priority. How to do audit of LLPs, that is first priority. Then remaining like hotel, hospital, charitable institute, NGO, all these items you can see. Then if you still have time, government audit. If you still have time, audit strategy, then risk assessment, then analytical procedure. Now if you leave these last priority chapters, maximum weightage from these chapters is 30 marks, not more than that, not more than 30 marks. Now from all these chapters, 90 marks you will get weightage, whatever the first priority chapters. And I always tell the students to follow an approach called 2/3 approach. I don't know whether a person who studies 100% syllabus will be qualified or not, but if a person who studies 2/3 syllabus, like what I told, first priority chapters, he can definitely write for 70 plus marks. Best answers he can write for 70 plus marks, and he will still end up scoring 50 plus very easily. Many students, you watch my previous interview, especially there is a student who has qualified in 17 attempts. He followed this 2/3 strategy approach in 17th attempt, when he met me. Getting it? I always tell, if at all you are perfect in 70 plus attempt, if at all you attempted 70 plus marks perfectly, descriptive plus MCQ put together, and I'm telling you, it depends upon how perfect your answers are. Getting it? You can score 60 plus easily. Many students, they don't bother about perfect answer. They just write something. If you write something, you get something. No, in marks. No, you get nothing. If you write something, you get nothing. You write correct answer, you get something. You write completely correct answer, you get complete full out of full marks. What is important is perfection. Now again, one question which everyone asks me in audit is, sir, should I remember the terminology and produce? Tell me what alternative term you know for that terminology which is used in the subject. For me, I'm poor in English. So obviously, since I'm poor in English, I can't identify alternative words for whatever they are discussing. Getting it? Whatever they discuss, no, understand that itself was a challenging task for me. If at all I am in your position, I don't have that much skill and ability to find an alternative sentence for that, so that I can communicate in alternative sentence. That much English I don't know. Suppose if they said, misstatement, there's a definition. It's a difference between Amount classification, presentation, disclosure of an item reported in the financial statements, and amount classification, presentation, disclosure that is required as per applicable financial reporting framework. That's a definition of misstatement. How many of you know this definition thoroughly? Unless you watch my marathon, how many of you observed this? How many of you observed this? Understand what is important is the perfection, understanding each and every word, understanding each and every paragraph. Decode it, how the paragraphs are drafted. If you understand and decode them, you remember as a byproduct. You remember naturally them. If you try to remember without analyzing, without understanding, you not remember at all. You will never remember. You know, there is a sentence called the matter of time, difficulty, cost is not an effect. I mean, the matter of time, cost, and the matter of difficulty, time, cost in itself is not a valid reason for an auditor to omit an audit procedure for which there is no alternative, or to be satisfied. I mean, to be satisfied with an evidence that is less than persuasive. What does it mean? I clarified it in marathon. It's nature, objective, and scope of audit. You know, inherent limitations of an audit. Inside that, this is one sentence which is used. One of the limitation is time and cost. There they explain this sentence. How many of you understand this sentence? So please come out of that old school of thoughts. No, following a fast track book, following keywords, highlighting keywords, mugging up. I'm telling you, you will not recollect in exam. What is important is understanding. Understanding is important. Understand what you're reading. Understand why is such, why is so. Whatever you're reading, why it is so. Logics behind it. Getting the point? So if you understand in a technical way, analytical way, very clear, I'm telling you, you remember very better. Okay, if you try to remember without decoding, without analyzing, without understanding, you may be feeling remembering at that moment, but not later on. And that's a very tough procedure. Whatever the procedure I am telling you is the most easiest procedure to learn the subject and understand and remember the subject at a better rate. So for entire these things, all these points, in reality, with subject terminology, I discussed it in marathon. You can watch the marathon. And in the marathon, most of these first priority chapters I have covered. So please watch them and definitely make use of it. If at all you follow the approach which I am telling you now, believe me, you will do the best in the exam. It's not, you know, attempting 100 out of 100, which is important in exam. It's getting 60 plus in the exam is most important, according to me. You know, I don't ask any student how many marks you attempted. I ask student for how many marks you perfectly attempted. This is the question. For how many marks you attempted perfect. Only that I count, because only that is what valued properly by the examiner. If you attempt something just for as a formality, something you wrote so that you can expect half a mark. No, they don't. Valuation rules are very clear. Paper valuation rules. Only if you are writing that meaning, whatever is given in the suggested answer, if your answer is conveying that meaning exactly and completely, then only you will get marks. Otherwise, you will get very nominal, half or 1 mark for a 4 marks or 5 marks question. Getting it? So pay attention to the terminology. See, it's not like terminology is there, this terminology is used. No, read it normally. Read it normally. The auditor's objective is, you know, to express opinion whether the financials are prepared in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework. As per framework, prepared or not, check it out. If it is prepared as per the framework, give positive opinion, give unqualified opinion. If it is not prepared as per the framework, financial statements, give negative opinion or qualified or adverse. If you are unable to verify whether the financials are as per the framework, you are unable to verify, you did not get evidence, give disclaimer of opinion. Very simple. And that is what we explained in entire audit report chapter in depth. Yes or no? So audit documentation also, you need to understand how in reality documentation happens, how file arrangements will be done, how audit assembly, working paper file is assembled in reality. So we have taken the virtual, like we explained in that marathon also, how in reality it happens. So you follow all these inputs, definitely you will do well. Getting it? Don't fear. You know, if at all you are continuously worrying means you are not working properly. Very simple. If you work properly, you will never worry. The worry or stress, all that comes from postponement of things. When you postpone things, you feel much more worried always. So don't stop worrying, start working. The moment you start working, finish one by one, I'm telling you, the amount of stress will gradually reduce. If you keep on worrying, the stress will increase. If you don't work and start worrying continuously, so stress will increase. So don't neglect it. Do well. I know you will do well. Take these inputs. All the very best. Okay, and update me once you wrote the exam, either in this comments or anywhere else. You can update me, and once you get the result, I wish to see every one of you, whoever sincerely put efforts should qualify. Whoever have sincerely studied well, analytically studied, who understood really well the subject, and who presented really well the subject, you all deserve pass marks. You all deserve, like pass marks, you all deserve to qualify. And I wish to see you as a CA final student very soon. Okay. And I always wish in the same way. I don't wish everybody to qualify. A person who have not worked upon should not qualify. If at all he is also qualifying, the beauty of our profession will lose. We lose the beauty of the profession. The beauty of this profession is only who studied really well, who understood really well, who presented in exams also really well, only they will qualify in this exam. Since we are asking you to study well and present well, you are saying it is tough process. Whereas in remaining many exams, like degree exams, like degree or 12th standard or 10th standard, even if you write some answer, if you scribble something also, you qualify. But in CA, we are asking you to write correct answers. That's why you are naming it as tough course. Since if we are asking you to write tough answer, you are calling it as tough course. That's how the mindset of the students. But anyhow, facts apart, you should qualify if at all you have sincerely put efforts upon, you sincerely learned everything, you have all the qualities to name you as a chartered accountant, then you should qualify. Getting it? Others who have not studied well, who are just trying their luck, they should not qualify. Okay, so don't think that I'm speaking something wrong. That is a fact. Okay, so everybody, whoever have sincerely given efforts, you should qualify, and all the very best to each and every one of you. Okay, please update me. Thank you.